Hello and welcome back to my channel, Naps of the New Black. Today marks 8 whole months that I have been locked. 8. Like, what? This is crazy. It went so fast. I'm loving the journey and I just want to share how it's been going for the past 8 months. My last update was the 6-month mark, so I'll just quickly show a few pictures from when I started till the 6-month mark, then a few pictures from 6 months till now, and some close-ups of what my hair is looking like today. After I show the pictures, I plan to answer a few questions that I've been getting from various different people so that I can just, have it on video, put it out there so that if anyone asks in the future, then, it's already right here. I'm going to get into the pictures and hope to see you guys at the end of the video. First thing I want to talk about is lint. I have a lot of it and I don't know what to do about it. I don't even know where it's coming from. Honestly, I wrap my hair up at night and I don't just like lay on linty things. I wear a lot of cotton, so that could be where it's coming from, but I'm not just about to stop wearing cotton. I like wearing cotton things. At this point, I think I might just dye my hair, but I've never used black dye. I've only ever used henna since being natural, and I love henna. I love the tint that it puts on my hair, but I'm not entirely sure that henna would tint the lint because lint isn't a hair follicle. Like what would it, but basically I don't know if the henna would bind to the lint the way that it binds to hair. Might run that experiment. Maybe I'll try henna in my locks. Regardless, I don't know how to get the lint out of my hair. I don't know if I'm willing to go, I don't know if I'm willing to ditch my cotton clothes to avoid getting lint in my hair in the future. I wrap my hair up at night, so it's not like I'm just rolling around cottony sheets. So I don't know. I guess it's just a side effect of having locks until my locks are mature enough to like brush them, because I know that's what people with more mature locks do. They brush their locks and it gets the lint out, but mine are still starter locks, so I'm scared that if I brush them, I'll brush a lot of the hairs out of the actual lock and just create a whole other problem that I really don't want to deal with. So really, my stance on the lint issue is it's still an issue. I don't have a solution yet. That's my update. I've had so many people DM me and ask me how I keep my locks from being excessively frizzy. They definitely are frizzy, and frizz is part of the lock maturation process. But excess frizz can also be an issue because you might be losing hairs from the locks that belong in the locks. And so I've sectioned off two of these locks. And they have frizz coming off the very ends. I'm just gonna show you what I do when I find locks like this. Basically, I take the frizz part and I just wrap it. I like put my hand right where the lock ends, and then I wrap the frizz around my lock. And now it's not as frizzy. You don't want to wrap it super tight, or it's almost like putting a belt that's too tight, like you'll have lumps and stuff in your locks. So you just want to gently wrap it around so that it's not flying everywhere anymore. So this is another one. And then sometimes the frizz is coming off the body like that, so I do the same thing. Just gently wrap it around the lock. Oops. And so it's not perfectly unfrizzy, but also hairs aren't flying all over the place. Here's some other ones that I would consider. Here's some other ones I would consider doing just I'd say it's also helping my ends to close a little bit faster, because I'm basically taking the loose curly-ish ends. My hair doesn't really curl. I guess I'm just taking the loose ends and wrapping them up. But that's it. That's how I would say I tame frizz. But I really just do it to make sure that my locks are sturdy and all of the hair that belongs in them stays with them. Not so much because I don't like the frizzy look. I actually am a fan of a little bit of frizz. I think I'm gonna be sad when my locks fully compact and they're fully mature and they're not as fluffy as they are right now. I'm really kind of enjoying the fluffy phase. Another common question I get asked is how many locks do I have? I have 265. Let's get that out of there. And then 2, what size are my parts? I didn't think to measure them when I first started them, but it's never too late, seeing as the parts are the same size they were when I first started them. I've got a tape measure, and I'm just going to measure what size my parts are. These ones are a little bit, okay, so let's start here. Oops. What is that? Is that ½ inch? Ouch. Yeah, so that one in the front looks like ½ inch, maybe a little less than ½ inch deep, and then sideways it's ½ inch. Hey, I didn't measure them when I made them. The fact that it's ½ inch by ½ inch, like almost exactly, wow. But okay, but these ones on the top are like slightly larger. Let's see if the side ones are the same. This is a smaller one, I think. Yeah, this one's pretty small. So that's, yeah, that one's like, that one's still pretty close to ½ inch. And that's like 1/4 inch. Okay, I think the smallest ones on my head are 1/4 inch by 1/4 inch, and then the larger ones are ½ inch. Basically, my parts didn't get any smaller than 1/4 inch. If that helps anyone in any way, shape, or form. Another question I get a lot is, do I have a video on how I started my locks? In all honesty, that's my biggest regret from my loc journey, is not recording the install video. I didn't expect it to go so well. It was the first time ever installing Microlocs on anyone, and then it was on myself at that. So I figured I'd mess it up and have to take it out and do it again. So I thought I honestly would have time to record the video, but the first run through went really well and I kind of just went with it. But I can describe in detail how I did it. Basically, I sectioned my hair. First, I did this middle part. And I put my hair into 2 puffs. Then, I sectioned down. Probably didn't just draw that line properly. Okay, then somehow I managed to get a straight line. Oh, we're getting there. Yeah, I don't remember how deep this went, but it was like straight down this way, kind of, and then straight down this way. So I had 4 sections total. Then, with each individual section, say I started in the back, for each individual section, I would do a row. So I would go straight across with the comb, to the best of my ability. Mind you, these parts are not as straight as people really think because I was doing it by myself. So the parts actually aren't that straight, but as long as you have some type of grid pattern, they're gonna seem straight. So I tried to go in a straight line across, and then I would section off each twist from the row that I just made. Then once I was done with that row, I would do another row and just try to match. The whole idea was that you wanted to match the size of the twist that you had already made. So that first twist is kind of going to lead you into all the other twists. Like that first size of that first twist should ideally be the size of all the rest of the twists on your head, except for the ones around your hairline. You want to make those a little thicker since your hairline is thinner than the rest of your head, or it's less dense. So then I would keep going and make another row and then section off that row and just twist them. That's it. It's really, really easy. Once I was done with this first section, I undid the second half of the back of my head and matched each row on this side to each row on this side so that it could go all the way across, basically. Yeah, so it could go all the way across as evenly as possible. And from there I just twisted. People ask me if during the install I interlocked the bases. I did not. I just twisted. I rope twisted because I had just been rope twisting my entire loose natural hair journey. So I rope twisted to start my locks. It is not necessary to rope twist. I do think that is why my locks are not as frizzy, because the rope twists are tighter twists, but it may be the reason that my twist pattern is still very evident in a lot of my locks. And you know, I think the twist pattern is going to be there for a while. So if you don't want your twist pattern to stay around for a super long time, then maybe don't start with rope twist, but also maybe expect a little more frizz because you don't start with a tighter version of a twist. When I went to go start my locks, I washed it. Then I did the LCO method. I used my Design Essentials leave-in conditioner. Then I used a cream. I don't remember which cream. It might have been by African Pride. And then I don't know why I have hiccups all of a sudden. Then any oil that I could get my hands on. After that, I blow dried my hair with the like Rev Air blow dryer thing. I was obsessed with it as a loose natural. I used to blow dry my hair like every other week. So I blow dried my hair so that it would be really easy to part. Then I didn't add any products. Like when I went to go actually twist my hair, I used 0 products, none. When I would get to the very end of my hair, since I had loosely blow dried it and the ends were still pretty kinky, I would just twirl the very ends of the twist to get them to stay together. And if they wouldn't stay together, then I might spray like a little bit of water on the very ends of the twist to keep them together. I had someone DM me and ask me why I started my Lord have mercy.
Why I started my twist? Well, you really should have camera.
Hey, you're supposed to be in the back being quiet. Thank you very much. What was I saying? Why did I start my locks with twists instead of coils? In reality, I had never done comb coils on my own hair. My hair is very kinky. It's mostly type 4B. There's some 4A on the very top here and 4C on the sides, like so I wanted to show you how small the coil is here. I don't even know if it's, yeah, I think you're able to see, but it's very tiny little coils. And I just didn't know how comb coils would even behave with my hair, honestly, because I had never done them. But I had done twists, and twists were just really easy. I knew I wanted to install well over 200 locks, and so I wanted to go with a method that I knew, that I trusted, and that wouldn't take me 5,000 years to figure out, because the install was already going to take a long time just from the sheer number of individuals that I wanted to put in my scalp. So I chose twists because they were easy, because I had done them before. I also chose them because they do not unravel as easily as comb coils do. I knew I wanted to wash my hair and wet it a lot. Even in those early stages, I washed it like a week after install, or maybe I did a hot oil treatment a week after install. Regardless, I got it completely wet a week after my install, and I think that if I had coils, they would have just fallen out, or I would have had to retwist that week, versus twists are much tighter and they just stay in your hair easier. So I knew that I wanted to go that route because it would be easier. Comb coils do turn into locks a lot, or they start to look like locks a lot quicker. So, you know, you wouldn't have a twist pattern that you're waiting to go away. So that is definitely something to consider. But me personally, I just was worried about maintenance and having my locks stay intact more so than I was looking at the pattern. Another question I get so often is, are they permanent? I think because I started with twists, people see my hair and they're like, oh, those are twists. And then they follow me on Instagram and they're like, oh, she's had those twists in for a long time. And then they head to my DM and they're like, are these permanent? Like, are you gonna take them down? What's going on here? These are as permanent as traditional locks are after a certain point. So once they begin to lock, they're pretty permanent, but they're semi-permanent because any form of lock can be combed out, brushed out, undone. With great time investments, it can be done, but it can be done. Like, if I wanted to right now, I could probably take this down. Would I have a bunch of single strand knots? Would it take me probably weeks to do? And would I probably have to get a major trim? Yes. So do not leave this style in if you don't want to have it for a long period of time. By long period of time, I mean like years, because otherwise it's not worth it. Your hair is tangling on itself, so naturally it's going to be increasingly difficult to undo your hair, and the takedown process will more than likely cause you to lose inches. So you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't leave the twist in long enough to lock if you don't want to have a semi-permanent hairstyle. Now, you can do micro twists and take them out in like 4 to 6 weeks and still be perfectly fine. You shouldn't have like excessive single strand knots. Your hair shouldn't lock in that time. You should be okay. So if you just like having the hairstyle, you can do the hairstyle, just don't leave it in for the 8 months that I have left mine in. This is a semi-permanent style, just like traditional locks, just like if I had to start it with comb coils. And this is the $1,000,000 question. Someone asks me what products do I use in my locks at least once a day, maybe twice. This spray bottle contains almost all of the products that I use in my hair. Outside of the leave-in conditioner, the shampoo, and miscellaneous oils that I'll use in my hair, those are all in my wash day video. So if you want to see like what products I use during wash day, then check that video out. But in terms of day-to-day, I either use no products at all or the contents of the spray bottle. So this is half aloe vera juice, half rose water, literally like this much glycerin. Glycerin's pretty thick, so you don't need to use a bunch of glycerin. There are also 3 different essential oils: peppermint oil, tea tree oil, and eucalyptus oil. I chose all of these ingredients for very specific reasons. I have a post on Instagram explaining the benefits of all of them, but I can quickly run through some of the benefits. So I use glycerin because it's a humectant and it draws moisture from the air and basically keeps it on your hair, around your hair. The peppermint oil, tea tree oil, those are both, the peppermint basically stimulates blood flow to your scalp, and the tea tree and the eucalyptus, they are like antifungals, antibacterials, anti-inflammatories. So they just keep your scalp environment very healthy, very clean. The rose water is just, it's a base. It's just a water base. You can substitute it for regular water if you don't want to get the expensive rose water version. I like the way it smells, and there are some properties with rose petals. I don't know. I remember looking at it one time and thinking, okay, I could use that. Then the aloe vera juice makes my scalp feel so good. It's so soothing, and I like that it keeps the pH of your hair around where it's supposed to be. But yeah, that's like the breakdown of some of these ingredients. I had a more detailed post on my Instagram, like I said before. Welcome to the end of this video. I hope it's not ridiculously long, but knowing me, it probably is. Thank you for watching. I hope I answered all of your questions. I have thoroughly enjoyed these past 8 months. I really have not been happier with my hair ever in my whole life. I think it's growing, you know, but that's really, it's weird. I used to be obsessed with growth as a new loose natural, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm definitely eagerly waiting for my locks to grow, but I'm not as in a rush as I was with my loose natural hair journey. I'm really just kind of enjoying my hair. I'm enjoying what it looks like, and growth is welcome, but it's not like something that I need in order to make me happy. And I can see it changing. I see it getting thicker. It's just really nice. Really, really freaking nice. I enjoy having my hair this way, and I plan to keep it this way for many, many years, at the very least. Make the world move and you lose, no doubt.